Hi, my name is Justin. I'm 34 years old, and I operate the biggest crane on the biggest construction site my town has ever seen. But somehow the heaviest thing I lift each day isn't steel, it's my own family's expectations. Before we dive in, do me a favor. If you've ever felt like relatives treated your wallet better than they treated you, jump into the comments and tell me about it. Bonus points if you can share one polite way you pushed back. Another dawnless morning, another 4:30 a.m. alarm. I roll off a thrift store mattress that sags like wet cardboard, tiptoe past my kids' room so I don't wake them, and splash cold water on my face in a bathroom lit by a single buzzing bulb. Ella, 10, and Trent, 8, are the reason I smile through cracked lips and frozen knuckles. They're also the reason my boots hit that frosted dirt lot every day, rain or shine. And lately it's been a lot of rain, horizontal sheets that slap the side of our duplex hard enough to rattle the window panes. The landlord says the drafts keep the place well ventilated. I call it thanks for the pneumonia. When I climb into my F-150, same age as Ella, twice the mileage, the serpentine belt squeals like a scared rabbit. I changed it myself last week in the driveway while sleet needled the back of my neck, but budget belts on bargain trucks only buy you so much silence. The heater's stuck on lukewarm and the radio cuts out unless I slap the dashboard just right, so every commute becomes this rhythmic game. Slap, static, slap, country ballad, repeat. Out on the highway, the cranes glow under stadium lights. They look like robot giraffes bending their necks toward the mud below, and I always whisper, "Morning, fellas," as though they can hear me. 12 hours later, 1 coffee, 2 bologna sandwiches, 3 near misses with swinging eye beams. I'm back in the truck, knuckles aching, palms grease-striped like a mechanic's roadmap. My kids will be waiting with construction paper dreams, and I've got exactly $19 until payday. $19, but I've sent almost 25 grand to my mother this year. Let that sink in. $25,000 is 2 years of community college tuition, or 6 reliable used cars, or enough space heaters to turn our drafty duplex into the Sahara. But in my mom Maggie's world, it's one season of necessities. Yacht yoga retreats, organic grocery boxes, and her latest, emergency aromatherapy for her Maltese that barks at the moon. If you're shaking your head, so was I, but guilt's a sneaky accountant. It tallies every thank you you crave and every I'm proud of you never heard, adds compound interest, then hands you a bill labeled Mom Needs Help. And when that bill shows up, I pay it. Because somewhere inside I still hear 16-year-old Justin promising to be the man of the house after Dad ghosted us for his secretary. Quick pulse check for you listening. Have you ever felt trapped between helping loved ones and harming yourself? What did you choose, and would you do it differently now? Back home, the space heater coughs like a dying lawnmower, but Ella and Trent barely notice. They're on the peeling linoleum piecing together a paper turkey army, orange feet, green feathers, googly eyes that refuse to stick. I crouch beside them and pretend my back isn't threatening mutiny. "Dad, look, this one's the general," Ella says, holding up a turkey with a bent construction paper sword. Her hair is a tangled curtain hiding half her smile, and yeah, she needs a trim, but the cheapest place in town wants $15 I don't have. Trent waves a blunt crayon like a conductor. "And this one's eating the mashed potatoes. Gobble, gobble, sir." The kid cracks himself up. They deserve a proper Thanksgiving. Good plates, real gravy, a table that doesn't wobble whenever someone coughs. That's why every year I swallow my pride and bring them to Grandma Maggie's mansion on the hill. Oak banisters, heated floors, chandeliers that look like upside-down champagne fountains. My kids look at that place the way I used to look at toy catalogs, wide-eyed and half-hopeful. It's hardly about Grandma. It's about the feeling that for one day they get to belong to something bigger than our leaky duplex. My phone buzzes. Block letters. Mom, probably another tiny favor. I brace myself for the usual. Wesley, my stepdad with the perpetual golf tan, needs his Lexus tires rotated or a Lexus. My half-sister needs salon towels monogrammed in gold thread. I hit speaker so my hands stay free to help with paper feathers. Maggie's voice oozes through the crackling speaker like chilled syrup. "Justin, sweetie, quick update about Thanksgiving. Alexis is hosting this year and we're keeping it intimate, just immediate family. That means you and the kids will have to sit this one out." I've swung wrecking balls into concrete walls that felt gentler than those words. Ella freezes mid-turkey. Trent's crayon snaps in half. I clear my throat, hopping fury won't hitch a ride. "We are immediate family, Mom." A theatrical sigh. "You know what I mean. Alexis's triplets are highly sensitive, your two are rambunctious. It's a compatibility issue. Compatibility issue? Like my children are defective software, my jaw flexes. Mom, I've sent almost 25 grand this year alone, that not enough for a little compatibility. Another sigh longer, thicker. Let's not drag money into gratitude, darling. Besides, the heritage turkey she ordered only feeds 12. We can't stretch miracles, perhaps next year. Ella's eyes gloss over. Trent stares at the paper scrap like it might bite him. My pulse drums so loud I nearly miss Maggie's parting shot. If you'd like, Wesley and I could take the kids for the weekend, introduce them to the symphony, polish their manners. Polish their manners. My 8-year-old who helps Mrs. O'Reilly carry groceries every Tuesday. My 10-year-old who shares her last juice box when a classmate forgets lunch. I slam my fist onto the table so hard the legs wobble. A cup of dollar store grape juice tips, purple spreading across overdue electric bills. The heater rattles, offended. Not happening, I growl. Suit yourself, she chirps, voice suddenly metallic. We'll see you at Christmas, assuming the children learn to behave. Click, silence. Except not really, because silence now sounds like Trent's sniffle and Ella's paper sword hitting the table. I sit on the cracked vinyl chair, elbows on knees, and breathe slow so I don't explode. Kids, listen up. Grandma's house is off the menu, but you know what? We're making our own feast right here, and it'll blow anything Alexis can plate out of the water. Ella lifts her head. Do we still get little hot dogs wrapped in bacon? Even better, I promise, though I have no clue how I'll fund better. Still, hope is cheap, and sometimes it's enough to buy time. Lesson break, because if a story doesn't teach, it's just noise. Boundaries hurt like ripped band-aids, but letting someone keep draining your soul costs more than any family bond is worth. The sooner you label manipulation for what it is, the sooner you start healing. That night when the kids are finally tucked into bunk beds that squeak louder than Trent's asthma inhaler, I do my own routine. I open the battered notebook I hide under the mattress. Each page lists payments. Mortgage, $5, $200. Lexus, $3, $300. Wellness getaway, $2, $100. My handwriting tilts more sideways with every line, like even the ink is tired of leaning on them. I flip to a fresh page and write one word in red marker. Enough. Flashback with me for a second. Dad skipped town when I was 16, vanishing in a cloud of perfume and grand promises to figure himself out. Mom collapsed. I stepped up. Late shifts at the grocery store, early mornings tutoring freshmen in algebra. 2 years later, Mom came home from a singles cruise wearing a diamond the size of a cough drop and introduced Wesley, a finance world hotshot who made sure I understood real men pay their own way. He handed me a pamphlet on trade school the morning of my graduation while booking Alexis a trip to Italy as an experiential gap year. I swallowed resentment like cheap whiskey and went digging for work. Funny thing about resentments, they fossilize layer by layer until one hard blow cracks the whole stack. Tonight was that blow, and this is the crack starting to spread. I shut the notebook, climb under a blanket Ella crocheted in art class, and stare at the ceiling's water stain shaped exactly like Florida. Somewhere in that mansion on the hill, Maggie is probably spritzing lavender mist onto goose-down pillows, oblivious. Wesley's snoring through a memory foam dream. Alexis is scheduling filters for tomorrow's Instagram reel about struggling mompreneur life. None of them can hear the concrete in my voice as I whisper the plan forming in real time. They wanted distance. I'll give them distance money can't bridge. Before sleep drags me under, a last question buzzes like a mosquito in the dark. What happens when the family ATM hangs an out-of-order sign? The answer is already ticking, and Dawn's bringing the first withdrawal. 0 balance, 0 apologies, 0 turning back. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. For now I drift off to Trent's soft wheeze and the rustle of cold wind against thin walls. Tomorrow I still have iron to lift, bolts to tighten, mud to trudge. But I've also got something new. The unshakable decision that my kids' dignity will never again be collateral for someone else's comfort. And that, my friend, is worth more than 25 grand any day of the week. Morning slips in on a wet November breeze, and for the first time in years the alarm clock doesn't feel like a summons to servitude. I roll out of bed with a single razor-sharp purpose pressing against my ribs. Today I start treating generosity like a switch, not a sentence. Outside the window, the sky is a flat steel plate smeared with dawn, and the parking lot glistens from overnight drizzle. Somewhere up the hill, Maggie's mansion still dreams of catered brunch and bone-dry heating vents. The idea makes me smirk before my feet even hit the cold floorboards. On habit, I reach for my phone to check 3 different balances: mine, hers, Wesley's shared card. Then pause. Not today. Today I'm loading a different toolkit. I pocket the phone for later and shuffle to the kitchen, where Ella's already perched on a chair too tall for her, ankles swinging, hair a stormy halo in the blue glow of the fridge. Dad, the milk's almost gone, but I invented a trick. She holds up 2 mugs, half milk in one, half water in the other. When she pours them together, the illusion of plenty swirls to life. This kid, always creating something out of not enough. That's Nobel Prize territory, I say, kissing her forehead. Trent plods in next, pajama pants dragging like he's smuggling sandbags. His asthma wheeze is quiet this morning, small mercy, and he offers me the triumphant grin of someone who found the last pack of instant oatmeal behind canned beans. They sit, I stand, and while the kettle rattles on the stove, I spell out the game plan in gentle strokes. We're going to make Thanksgiving ourselves right here. You'll help me pick the menu, deal. Ella brightens immediately. Can we have mac and cheese that isn't from a box? Homemade, I promise, even though I don't yet know how homemade we can afford. Trent asks if gravy can be the thick kind like in cartoons. I nod and file that away, thick gravy, one more mountain to climb. Before I leave for work, I slip the battered notebook from beneath the mattress. Last night's red ink dried into the fibers like dried blood. Enough. I add a new heading beneath it. Payback, not in the spiteful sense, but in the literal sense of paying back every cent to myself, starting now. The construction site greets me with sleet, the metal deck slick as newly waxed ice. My boots grip, I climb, and the crane cab feels like a cockpit above a storm. From this height, everything looks like toy blocks, half-framed condos, traffic stitching through morning gridlock, and in the far distance, the rolling roofs of Oak Crest Estates, Maggie's neighborhood. It strikes me that I'm tethered to this vast machine by a simple seat belt, yet somehow I've allowed far flimsier strings, approval, guilt, nostalgia, to keep me pulling their weight for years. A gust rattles the cab, and I picture those strings snapping in sequence, one by one. Lunch break hits. Instead of devouring my PB&J on autopilot, I dig out my phone and crouch inside the tool shed where the wind can't eavesdrop. Steps to freedom. First, the mortgage. I've had limited power of attorney for 3 years. Maggie cried that banks spoke Greek and Wesley worked such long hours. The bank app opens with their smiling faces on a profile thumbnail I uploaded for them during better days. Past due balance 0, autopay scheduled. I tap manage payments, thumb hovering over the green toggle. In that second, a rush of what-ifs tries to stampede. What if they lose the house? What if the neighbors find out? What if mom actually apologizes? I breathe them out slow, then I tap. Toggle slides gray, autopay canceled. Next stop, Lexus Financial. Wesley's pride and joy is a pearl-white sedan that rattles like a jewelry box every time it passes my worksite. Windows down so the world can hear his curated yacht rock playlist. Payment history shows my routing number, my labor. I remove it and set a new reminder on my phone. 6:01 p.m. Call tow company Mitch recommended. I don't owe Lexus a courtesy notice, but I want to make sure they know where the car suns itself at night. Utilities are trickier. Gas, electric, water, all in my name because, funny story, Wesley's credit score cratered during something he called a temporary liquidity crisis, and the companies refused him. One by one, I open each account and schedule immediate disconnects for non-payment. I imagine the hum of their double sub-zero fridge grinding to silence, the hot tub jets wheezing out their final bubbles. A petty part of me wants to hit the email confirmation box just so Maggie's inbox lights up like a slot machine. I check it. Sparkles of satisfaction dance behind my eyes. Last is the security service. Mitch, my union buddy, handles system maintenance for half the gated community. I text. Need the oldest gate code reinstituted, alarm pin invalidated, and a late payment lockout flag thrown. He responds with a thumbs up and a gif of a drawbridge rising. Friends are priceless. Work whistle blows. The afternoon whirls past in a mud-splashed blur. By quitting time, my hands feel carved from granite, but the high of decisive action keeps me upright. Every step crunching through gravel toward the truck feels lighter. Insert reflection moment for anyone hearing this. When was the last time you said no to something that had long felt non-negotiable? What did that no unlock for you? On the drive home, I take a detour to the discount grocery. Budget is tight, but tonight I'm shopping with the money I didn't just hand my mother. A sale tag flaps on turkey breasts, half off. I grab one, plus 2 bags of elbow pasta, cheddar blocks with store coupons, and the fancy version of cranberry sauce because Ella loves seeing the berries. I splurge, a relative term, on real butter. At checkout, the total hovers just under what remains in my debit. For the first time in months, I slide the card without that queasy dread, and it approves on the first try. Small victory, but the kind that builds muscles. Evening settles in the duplex like warm bread. Ella's reading to Trent on the couch, voice rising and falling like she's auditioning for a radio play. I hide the groceries in the fridge, Trent, tiny bloodhound that he is, clocking the berry sauce immediately, and tell them tomorrow after school we're drawing up a menu. Anything within reason, I stress. They demand definitions. If it uses truffles, it's out, I laugh. They don't know what truffles are. Perfect. Homework, baths, bedtime. The place goes soft and hushed. I park at the rickety kitchen table, open my laptop, hinges squeal, and log into social media because reconnaissance is free. Alexis's latest reel. She's in a silk robe, hair in an effortless top knot, pouting about entrepreneur burnout while sipping a lavender latte. Caption: self-care isn't selfish, it's survival. Comments flooded with heart emojis and "Yas Queen." I fight an eye roll so hard my skull creaks. Maggie posted a filtered photo of her dining room table already set with gold-rimmed china and placed cards in calligraphy. Ella and Trent's names nowhere in sight. The disconnect between their curated perfection and my real life has never looked starker. I switch tabs to my bank. Balance, still a hair above zero after groceries. It hits me that I'm wealthier tonight than Mom and Wesley will be by tomorrow. That's not greed talking, that's reality slapping irony across the face. Before shutting the laptop, I draft an email to myself, a time capsule promise. 3 weeks from today, every spare dollar goes to emergency fund, then to braces, then to a reliable heater. No exceptions, no bailouts. Signed, Justin. I schedule it to ping my inbox the morning of Christmas Eve, just in case holiday guilt tries a comeback tour. In the hallway mirror, I catch my reflection, cracked lips curved upward, shoulders unrounded for once. I look like someone who just laid a foundation, not someone crushed by one. Funny what a few cancellations can do. The next morning at 5:45, rain drums the roof like it's rehearsing a symphony, and I'm the conductor with a travel mug of coffee. On the way to the site, the radio flares to life without the slap, small mercies, then buzzes with a call from an unfamiliar number. I answer on speaker. "Is this Justin?" a clipped voice asks. "Lacey from Evergreen Lending. We noticed an interruption to the Latham mortgage auto pay, just confirming whether you'll be submitting manually." My stomach should drop, but it doesn't. "There's been a financial restructuring," I say, adopting Wesley's banker jargon to enjoy the taste. "I'm no longer responsible for that account." "Understood," she replies, professional but with a shade of surprise. "We'll communicate with the primary residence." "Good plan," I answer and hang up. The silence afterward feels like someone opened a new window in a stale room. Coffee break at 10 a.m. Another call, Lexus repo department. I give them the address, gate code soon to be obsolete, and suggest arriving before Thanksgiving for best results. The agent chuckles, probably picturing a family mid-feast as their sedan slides down the driveway on a flatbed. My loyalty is with whoever's steering that truck. Word spreads fast when the scaffolding gossip chain kicks in. Mitch corners me near the hoist, eyes gleaming. Gate code change executed. Wesley tried entering 5 times before the keypad froze. City sidewalks heard language that would make a sailor blush. I snort, then grow briefly sober. "We crossed a bridge today, no coming back." Mitch claps me on the shoulder. "Sometimes bridges need burning so the monsters can't follow." Lesson insert for you listening. Decisive action is scary as hell, but half measures usually just extend the pain. Rip the stitch, feel the sting, then watch it heal clean. By quitting time, my phone is a buzzing hornet nest, unknown numbers, likely utilities or credit card reps. I tuck it into the glove box and drive the kids to the library instead. Free Wi-Fi, free warmth, free adventure between pages. Trent picks a comic about a space-faring hamster. Ella grabs a cookbook called Feast on a Shoestring. She flips to a page titled Ultimate Mac and Cheese, eyes big as planets. "Dad, it says evaporated milk makes it creamy. Do we have that?" "We will," I assure her. When we return home, the voicemail ticker reads 9 new messages. I don't hit play yet. Instead, I lay out blank index cards on the kitchen counter, hand the kids markers, and ask them to design official Thanksgiving place cards. Ella writes Chef Ella under hers, flourishes around the letters. Trent scribbles official gravy inspector. drawing a stick figure with a magnifying glass hovering over a gravy boat. Only when they're asleep do I retreat to the porch and tap the first voicemail, speaker low. Beep, Justin, darling, slight mix-up with the utility company. They claim payment stopped. This is obviously an error. Please sort it, love. Beep, Wesley, now, voice thin with restraint. Need you to reinstate autopay tonight. Dinner for 30 arriving tomorrow. Don't make a scene. Beep, Alexis, shrill. My children can't have Thanksgiving in a chilly house, Justin. Fix your oversight. The progression continues, each new message more frantic than the last. The final one sounds like Maggie's tears are freezing mid-cheek. I delete them all and slide the phone off. Cold air wraps around me, but inside, every nerve sparkles with warm, vicious clarity. Tomorrow, the real fireworks begin. But here's the secret that Thanksgiving hosts never see coming. The person controlling the fuel lines determines how bright the candles burn and how quickly they go dark. Back inside, I jot a single sentence on the fridge whiteboard where grocery lists usually live. Power feels different when you finally use it for yourself. Underneath, I draw a tiny stick figure family around a steaming bowl of mac and cheese. The picture isn't art, but it's a blueprint. Every good build starts with one. As I kill the lights, I feel the switch I flipped earlier reverberate through the night, a silent chain reaction humming through wires, pipelines, and automated drafts. Each hum is a countdown to sunrise, and I'm suddenly eager to watch the sparks fly, not out of spite, but because sometimes collapse is the first step toward honest construction. And when dawn comes, we'll be ready, with thick cartoon gravy, creamy mac, and a family that knows exactly what it's worth. When dawn finally blooms on Thanksgiving morning, it arrives with the hiss of sleet against the window and the warm, buttery smell of melting margarine in a dented saucepan. I'm standing barefoot in the kitchenette, whisking evaporated milk and shredded cheddar like it's rocket fuel. The dollar store timer ticks beside me, and every click feels like a drum roll. Across the room, Ella and Trent kneel on the couch, faces pressed to the glass, debating whether the gray drizzle counts as real snow. Their excitement bounces around the duplex and lands square in my chest. My phone, propped face down on the counter, buzzes once, then twice, then slides into a full-body vibration fit. I don't need to flip it over to guess who's calling. Somewhere beyond the rain, Maggie is discovering that opulence runs on ordinary things like gas and electricity, things she used to pay for with my calloused hands. I flip the grilled cheese-level heat under mac and cheese-level ambition down to a simmer and wipe steam off the microwave door so I can use it as a mirror. What stares back is a man running on 4 hours of sleep and pure resolve. I wink at him and turn back to the stove. If you've ever hosted a holiday in less than perfect conditions, a tiny apartment, a busted oven, maybe even a card table instead of a dining set, drop a comment. What hack saved the day? I might borrow it next year. The first catastrophe report arrives via text at 8:47 a.m. sharp. Mom, Justin, the heat is out. Call the gas company now. No greeting, no apology, just marching orders. A minute later, another buzz, this time a voicemail. Wesley's voice comes through sounding like someone trying to sweet-talk a grizzly bear. Need you to reinstate autopay immediately. Guests arrive at noon. This is critical. I hit delete. The phone's notification bubble reads 6 missed calls before 9 o'clock, but I focus on sliding the turkey breast into our beat-up oven. The oven door squeals, closes, and for once the wonky seal holds in the heat without me wedging a chair against it. Ella pokes her head into the kitchen. Dad, the parade's starting. Trent says the Snoopy balloon looks like it has fleas on the screen. Our TV is 20 years old and the size of a suitcase. The antenna's coat hanger arms can't catch a signal without snow static decorating everything. But Snoopy's still Snoopy, and the kids shriek when a marching band struts by in crimson capes flapping like napkins. I hand them bowls of cereal, mostly cereal dust from the bottom of a bag, with slices of banana fanned on top. Luxury is 90% framing, 10% fruit. Phone buzz again, message from Mitch. Gate is stuck open, then stuck closed, then stuck open again. Wesley cursed out of security tech. I'm recording. The mental image of my stepfather in a designer trench coat, arms flailing at an iron gate that won't obey, warms me better than fresh coffee. I grin into the steam of the kettle. Time checkpoint, 10:15. Mac and cheese goes into a thrift store casserole dish. Ella sprinkles breadcrumbs with the concentration of a jeweler setting diamonds. Trent stands on a step stool, stirring gravy so thick it clings to the ladle like molten chocolate. He's wearing a chef's hat made from notebook paper, Ella drew a cartoon turkey on the front and misspelled executive chef as executive chief. Perfect. Meanwhile, panic escalates in Oak Crest Estates. Mom, guests walking half a mile in rain, elderly Mrs. Wilson shivering. Fix this now. She's typing in all caps now. Uncle Dave group texts a photo. A line of luxury sedans parked along a curb, passengers dashing under umbrellas the size of trampolines, heels slipping on wet cobblestone. Wesley stands near the gate console, phone pressed to one ear, other hand waving like he's hailing a helicopter. Dave's caption, "Your stepdad just offered the keypad $100 to behave." I laugh so hard I almost drop the gravy. Lesson break for me, for you, for anyone still on the fence about setting boundaries. People who treat you like an emergency fund will experience your no as a crisis. That doesn't make it the wrong answer. It just proves they were never budgeting respect in the first place. Midday pushes in. Our duplex smells like November at Grandma's the way it should have smelled if Grandma actually cooked. Rain taps Morse code on the roof, and I line the kids up at the counter for an official taste test. Trent pronounces the mac cheesier than TV cheese, which I assume is high praise. Ella closes her eyes after the first bite of gravy and hums. She opens them and grins. "Better than Grandma," she whispers, as if saying it louder might summon Maggie through the drywall. Another buzz. A Lexus voice message, 30 seconds of pure shriek. Triplets are freezing in their bow ties, caterer threatens to leave, cranberry reduction is congealing. I delete and take a slow sip of instant coffee that suddenly tastes like victory. By 1:30, we've settled around our wobbly table, a tea-light candle flickering between worn, smooth plates. The turkey is no Instagram showpiece, but the meat falls apart under a fork, juices glistening like it showered in butter. Ella lifts her plastic cup of grape juice concentrate, 2 parts water to stretch it, and says, completely unprompted, "I'm thankful for Dad fixing everything even when he's tired." Trent adds, "And for cartoons and for extra thick gravy." My throat tightens, I clink cups. Barely have we taken 3 bites when the phone erupts again. This time, Wesley leaves a voicemail dripping with lawyer speak and desperation. He threatens to pursue restitution for damages if I don't restore service within the hour. I imagine airy dining room lights flickering off while 30 of their closest friends hunch in coats, nibbling lukewarm hors d'oeuvres off plates that cost more than my truck. I slide the phone into a kitchen drawer and stuff a dish towel in the handle gap to muffle vibrations. Halfway through dessert, store-brand pumpkin pie topped with hand-whipped evaporated milk cream, the doorbell rings, my heart skips. Maggie wouldn't come out in this neighborhood, not without an entourage. Curious, I peek through the blinds. It's my buddy Mitch, soaked to the bone, holding a plastic bag. Inside, a half-gallon of gas station eggnog and a container of bakery clearance cinnamon rolls. He steps in and unlaces puddled boots. "Had to see the legend in person," he says. "Also, the spectacle up there, chef's kiss." He proceeds to recount what I missed. First, the caterer demanded his check before plating food, then the stove clocks went dark mid-prep. Aunt Joanne's prized artichoke dip ended up heating in the garage on a camp stove. Guests queued for the powder room only to find the elegant bidet water a notch above ice. By dessert, store-bought sheet cake that thawed into sugary soup. Someone tried to stream a football game on Wesley's 80-inch TV, but internet speeds had throttled to prehistoric levels. The guests left in waves, stepping over puddles and cursing under breath. Mitch hands Ella the cinnamon rolls, tips an imaginary hat, and leaves to thaw at home. I thank him with the kind of hug guys pretend is a shoulder clap. Late afternoon drapes everything in pewter light. Ella and Trent sprawl on the living room rug, constructing a fort from couch cushions. I wash dishes by hand, humming "Dream a Little Dream of Me." Every few minutes another call slides across the silenced phone. At 4:05, a particularly long voicemail from Maggie lands. Unable to resist, I step onto the porch, earbuds in. "Justin, this is beyond cruel. The triplets could get pneumonia. The turkey was raw in the center. Neighbors are gossiping. Your stepfather is furious. I just don't understand how you could do this after everything we've provided. Please call me." No apology, no recognition, just cause and effect framed as betrayal. I shake my head, tuck the phone away. Reflection time, viewer. What's the difference between helping and enabling? At what point does support become a script that lets someone else avoid accountability? I've decided my line is when helping someone else hurts the people I love the most. Where? Yours. By 6, the rain thickens into sleet. Our fort now boasts battery-powered fairy lights Ella stole from her own headboard, and Trent insists we rename it Gravy Castle. I crawl inside, balancing paper plates of second-round leftovers. We read picture books by lantern app Glow. Each laugh echoes off plywood floors and drywall, nothing fancy to muffle it, and it sounds pure. I checked the thermostat. 67 degrees thanks to the space heater that miraculously hasn't short-circuited tonight. Outside, the wind howls. I imagine the thermometer at the mansion hitting low 40s, breath fogging up those grand bay windows, Maggie clutching a mug of cold cider. Around 8:30, a new message pops up, this time from Uncle Frank with a video. I tap play. Shaky phone footage captures Wesley trying to light decorative candles with a blowtorch because the long matches ran out. The blowtorch sparks, a curtain edge singes, guests gasp, someone swats flames with a linen napkin. In the background, Maggie wails, "This is supposed to be perfect." I pause, drop my head to my knees, and laugh until tears run. Ella, hearing me from inside Gravy Castle, giggles in sympathy, though she has no idea why. Another lesson lands as the laughter fades. Sometimes poetic justice writes its own script, and you're just the quiet narrator. You don't have to stage manage every karmic twist. You only need to stop underwriting bad behavior and watch cause meet consequence. I tuck the kids in, each under mismatched quilts donated by Mrs. O'Reilly next door. They fall asleep fast, turkey tired, cheeks rosy from space heater warmth. I linger in the doorway. The duplex hums and pops as old wood shrinks in the cold, but the sound isn't hostile tonight. It's home stretching after a long yawn. Back at the kitchen table, I finally replay the last batch of voicemails. Maggie's voice fractures into sobs, then anger, then back to sobs. Wesley's threats devolve into pleading, "Think of the family name," whatever that means. Alexis leaves a voice note describing frost forming on a cranberry glaze like it's the apocalypse. I delete them all, feeling lighter each time. Before midnight, I text Mitch one line, "Stage 1 complete." He responds with a gif of a mic drop. Then I draft a note on the same fridge whiteboard where our grocery list lives. "Today we proved a mansion isn't a home and a duplex isn't a limit." Under that, in kids' marker scribble, Ella has added 2 hearts and the words, "Best thanks day ever." I leave it as is. I crawl into bed, joints throbbing from the week's workload, but my spirit stays wired. The world can be merciless, but tonight it played fair. Maggie's palace stands dark on the hill, stripped of the invisible labor I poured into it. Here, in our modest box of peeling paint and patched-up plumbing, the lights stay on, faint maybe, but steady. And the biggest, quietest win? Ella and Trent drift to sleep believing they are enough. No gilded invitation, no heated marble floors required. Somewhere in the gap between their contentment and Maggie's meltdown, I find my own slice of peace. I slide the phone to do not disturb, roll onto my side, and let the rain's staccato lull me under. There will be fallout. There's always fallout when you tip a false kingdom into free fall, but tonight the ruler of this tiny, truthful realm sleeps easy. Boundaries have been drawn, the moat has filled, and Gravy Castle never felt so secure. The Monday after Thanksgiving breaks clear and bright, cold enough that my breath ghosts across the windshield as I scrape frost with an expired grocery card. I hum off key. Can't remember the last time a Monday felt lighter than a Saturday. Overnight, my phone filled with fresh pleas. Mom's messages drip tragedy. Wesley's veer from rage to supplication so fast the transcript reads like a bipolar screenplay. I pocket the device, let the engine idle, and watch the sun turn the horizon the color of cut oranges. At the sight, steel beams glint like tuning forks as the crane cables tighten. Rick slaps my back. "Heard the Thanksgiving fireworks." Word travels quicker than rebar rumors. I lift a brow. "How loud was it?" He laughs. "Let's just say Wesley tried hearing half the union to assess a family emergency." Nobody bit. He hands me a thermal mug of coffee, no questions asked. By mid-shift, the wind knifes through my coveralls, but each gust feels earned, like nature applauding the boundary I drew. Lunchtime brings another unknown caller, 3 in a row, but I ignore them, choosing the clatter of lunch pails and the smell of diesel over a guilt concert. A thought nudges me. Maybe that's the real power of saying no. Silence becomes restful instead of shameful. Later, I'm tightening bolts on the boom when I glimpse a pearl-white tow truck passing the chain-link fence, dragging Wesley's Lexus like a trophy fish. The crew hoots and hollers. Somebody whistles the Taps melody. I tip an imaginary cap. Reflection for anyone listening. Have you ever watched a symbol of someone's pride crumble and felt an unexpected mix of pity and relief? Why do you think both emotions show up? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious. I clock out to find a text from Mitch. "Mansion utilities officially flagged delinquent. Reconnection earliest Friday if they pay the balance." Then a second. "Security code changed again for suspicious activity. They're locked out of the lockout." I snicker, start the truck, and aim toward home. 2 blocks from the duplex, a shadow steps off the curb, waving frantically. Wesley. His perfectly coiffed hair has surrendered to wind. The camel hair coat is soaked at the shoulders. I ease to a stop, keep doors locked, crack the window 2 inches. His eyes are red-rimmed, cheeks wind-burned. Justin, we need to talk. It's catastrophic. I study him the way a welder studies a seam, looking for cracks. Talk here. He glances around like paparazzi lurk behind trash cans. Your mother's distraught. The bank is threatening foreclosure. The Lexus, well, you saw, we need $6,700 by Wednesday to halt proceedings. His voice shakes, not from cold, pride hemorrhaging on asphalt. I rest my arm on the window edge. Do you need a ride to the bus stop? He flinches. This isn't funny. Maggie hasn't slept. Alexis blames us for traumatizing her children. A laugh bursts out of me before I can catch it. Trauma builds resilience, you once told me. Color drains from his face. Look, mistakes were made, but you have resources. Family solves things together. I tilt my head. Did family include us when Maggie called my kids street trash? His shoulders sag. I lean closer. Tell Maggie I'm fresh out of resources. I pull an envelope from the visor and hold it up. Inside are photos, Wesley arm in arm with a blonde waitress outside the country club. And if she calls me again, I'll drop these in her charity's group chat. Tara rearranges his features. You wouldn't, I shrug. Lines get blurry when family solves things together. I roll up the window and pull away, his form shrinking in the rearview until it becomes just weather. Back home, the duplex radiates meatloaf comfort. Ella and Trent are at the kitchen table crafting homemade Christmas ornaments from cinnamon dough. The air smells like a Yankee Candle knockoff. I hang my jacket, squeeze shoulder blades free of tension, and kiss the tops of their heads. Trent shows me a lopsided gingerbread man. He's missing a leg, he giggles. Occupational hazard, I say, and we both laugh harder than the joke merits. My phone lights with a voicemail icon, Mom. I slip into the bedroom and sit on the edge of the mattress before hitting play. Her voice trembles. Justin, I'm standing in an empty dining room. They took the crystal, said it covers partial debt. Walter, he's moved out. I don't recognize my life. I know I hurt you and the children. I was wrong. Please help me, son. A soft sob ends the recording. For a beat, the room feels weightless. I thumb the delete button, drop the phone onto the quilt, and stare at the faded ceiling map of Florida. Compassion flickers. Anger swats it away. Still, a lesson floats up. Sometimes an apology isn't a key. It's a test to see if you'll unlock the cage again. The next day is a blur of routine. Job site clamor, after school library run, budget spaghetti dinner. Around 7, there's a tentative knock. Maggie stands on the porch, hair unstyled, eyes swollen. She wears a thrift store coat 2 sizes too big, tag still flapping from the seam. For a heartbeat, I see the mom who used to braid my hair for first grade picture day before status swallowed her. Then I remember rainy nights she wouldn't share her heated guest room. I step outside, closing the door behind me. Hi, Mom. Tears spill instantly. Justin, I lost everything. Walter drained the joint account and left with someone. Alexis won't answer my calls. The bank gave me 30 days. She sniffles, rubs mascara across her cheeks like war paint. I'm your mother. I fold my arms. And I'm a father. That's the only job I'm doing now. She reaches for my hand. I keep it in my pocket. I'll be a better grandmother, she pleads. You'll see. I'll move somewhere modest budget. Budget like the way I've been living. My voice cracks the cold air. You taught me love equals sacrifice, so I sacrificed. You taught me family comes first, as long as it's your turn to benefit. I'm unlearning that syllabus. She closes her eyes. I don't expect money, just forgiveness. I study her face, searching for the subtle flinch that usually comes before a price tag. Not this time. Maybe genuine remorse, maybe desperation. The lines blurry. I speak carefully. Forgiveness is free. Trust has rent. Her brow furrows. I continue. You want relationship? Show up for birthday parties without critiquing the wrapping paper. Call to ask how Trent's lungs are before you ask for a favor. And above all, respect my no like it's gospel. I let the words hang like icicles. She nods, tears dripping. Can I at least say good night to them? I inhale, picture Ella's turkey sword, Trent's giggle over gravy. My gut says yes could reopen wounds, no might stitch a seam. I compromise. Not tonight. Write them a letter first. Tell them you're sorry in ink because words at the door melt too fast. Something rigid in her slumps. Okay, she steps back. I thank you for hearing me. She turns, walks into the night, no chauffeur, no headlights sweeping the curb, just crunch of gravel and her silhouette shrinking between street lamps. I exhale, slip inside. Ella looks up from her math worksheet. Was that Grandma? I nod. She wanted to say hi. Ella bites her lip. Are we seeing her soon? I kneel to eye level. Maybe, but only when it's healthy for us. She nods slowly, processing the new rule book. After bedtime, I pour a budget beer, sit at the kitchen table beneath the humming light, and draft 2 documents. First, an application for a credit union account purely for emergencies, my emergencies. I automate $20 a week starting Friday. Tiny steps still climb mountains. Second, a letter to my kids for someday. If someone asks you to trade your dignity for their comfort, walk away. Love is mutual. Generosity is a gift, not an invoice. Phone buzzes again, this time a screenshot from Mitch, a foreclosure sign planted on Maggie's manicured lawn. Below it, another text. Utilities finally paid, but too late. Auction in 60 days. I stare a moment, equal parts vindicated and sad. Then I delete the image. That chapter's closing, no need to laminate the pages. Reflection prompt for you out there. If you woke tomorrow stripped of every luxury, which relationships would still stand? Reach out to those people today, before crisis becomes the only invitation. 1 week later, life settles into a new rhythm. Ella's teacher emails. She volunteered to mentor younger students in art class. Trent gets his inhaler refill without me choosing between medicine and utilities. We buy a second-hand space heater that hums like a sleeping cat. The duplex no longer wheezes each night. Payday arrives, and for the first time since forever, my bank balance ends higher than it started. On Saturday morning, I treat the kids to pancakes at a diner with cracked vinyl booths. Syrup drips, whipped butter melts, and Trent asks, "Dad, will we have turkey again next year?" I grin. "Every year, buddy, but maybe we'll invite someone new who appreciates paper forts." Ella suggests Mrs. O'Reilly because she tells funny stories about the war. Trent votes for Mitch because he can reach the top shelf. We draft a guest list on a napkin, circles and arrows everywhere. As we're paying, the waitress leans over. "That older lady in the corner left this for you." She hands me a folded note, Maggie's handwriting. Inside, "I enrolled in a budgeting class. Letter to kids coming soon. Thank you for the chance I didn't deserve." No request for money, no guilt clause, just ink and accountability. I figure that's a decent first down payment on trust. Back at the duplex, sunlight floods the living room through fingerprint-smudged panes. Ella tapes the diner napkin list on the fridge under our Thanksgiving mantra. Power feels different when you use it for yourself. I add a new sentence beneath in permanent marker, and it feels best when you wield it to protect what matters most. I step back, arm around each child, and feel the room expand. Same peeling paint, same mismatched furniture, but the space is bigger because the weight is gone. In the quiet, I hear my younger self whispering from that long-ago grocery store stockroom, "Be the stable man." I smile at how he undersold it. Stability isn't just bills paid, it's boundaries kept, lessons taught, and love served in thick cartoon gravy. For the record, the gravy is gone, but the recipe lives on a crumpled index card tucked beside the electric bill, both paid on time. That's the happily ever after I can bankroll, a home where respect is never overdrafted, and gratitude accrues faster than interest. If you were waiting for a sign to cash out of a toxic contract, financial, emotional, or both, consider this your notification. The penalty for early withdrawal is steep only if you measure it in someone else's comfort. Measure it in your own peace, and you'll find the return unbeatable. I grab a marker one last time and write across the top of the fridge door, "Balance paid in full." Underneath, Ella adds a stick figure crown. Trent draws a forklift lifting a giant heart. We step back, 3 wide smiles reflecting in the oven door's shine. Outside, winter winds gear up for their nightly howl, but inside the fortress stands, boundaries fortified with love, and we are unshakably warm.